Hi, my name is Eli Taylor with the AP Design Fabrication Lab, and today we are going to cover how to change the wire spool on a wire feed MIG welder. Usually the reason we are replacing the spool is because we're out of wire, but today we are just changing wire diameter, so it's the same steps, so we're just going to demonstrate that. The first thing you're going to want to do is remove the ground. That way, as you're feeding wire through, there's not a chance that you can arc onto the table or the machine. So it's just more of a safety thing. If there is a full spool of wire like today, then you're going to pull the nozzle. It's very important to clip the end of the wire because there's a ball there, because we're going to back feed the wire through the machine. So clip the wire, get a nice clean end, and then go ahead and remove the contact tip. Spin it off. Like that. And then we'll go ahead and just reholster the gun for now. Just like that. Next step, we're going to come over here. All of these MIG welders are, at least here at AP Design, are the same. They're all Miller. They're the same style. You have a tensioning lever right here. You don't need to twist it or turn it. All you need to do is pull it down and it'll unlock this top roller. Now the wire is free and ready to be rolled back up. There's a cleaning sponge right here. To take it off, you pull the metal band like that. There's a split in it. Go ahead and pull it off and set it off to the side for now. So we're going to back feed all the wire from this gun lead. You just need to make sure you hold on to it as you do that, because when the end of the wire comes out, we do not want to lose track of that wire and have it spin free and tangle up. I'm keeping an eye on the front here as I'm back feeding it, looking for the end. There it is. You want to make sure that you catch it. If I let go of this, it's going to unwind, and there's a chance that we might lose the whole spool, because it will tangle up and it won't feed in the future if we do that. So there's usually a hole in the side of this roll. We're going to go ahead and feed it through that hole and give it a hard twist down. We want the pliers handy. We'll go ahead and clip the end and just wrap this wire like such. You'll then take this off by pushing these two bolts in, removing that, and then the wire comes off, just like so. Okay, now it's time to throw on the 035 wire onto this machine. Something I want to point out real quick is on this spool holder, you've got a knob. What that does is that makes sure that this cannot spin freely as the machine stops feeding. So this one, it just needs to wind up in between these two rods here. This guy, these plastic style ones, have a hole designed in them to fit around this knob. It's very important that you remember to do that, because if we're adjusting the tension on our roll, then it's basically a useless feature if we don't line up this knob with that hole. But on these old school wire cage ones, it's not a big deal. Just make sure it winds up between the bars at some point. Now, as you're adding the new wire, you always want to pay attention to the angle of your feeder. Some machines feed from the bottom into a straight line out the front. This one feeds from the top at an angle like that. So we want to make sure that our wire is set up to match that angle of the feed system. Otherwise, you might have feeding issues, or you're going to wear out your brass piece right here. So this one unrolls from the top. So I'm going to spin this 180 and go ahead and set it on, making sure everything's lined up. We take our little clampy-doo there, set it right there. So before we feed the wire into the machine, we're changing wire diameter. So it's very important, if you're switching wire diameter, to switch your size of your rollers. So to do that, you're going to open this up, twist it that way, we'll unlock it again, and these should pull right off. just like that. Now, you'll know you have it set correctly. This is set to 030. All we do is turn it 180, and it now says 035. So this is 035 wire. It'll point and read 035 and utilize that side of the die. So we'll put that back in. Boom. Go ahead and lock it into place. And then I will pull this one off. Looks like that's in the way. Pull that off. It reads 030, and now it reads 035. So I will throw him back on, lock it into place. I'm going to retighten that. And now we should be good to feed the wire. And like I said earlier, it's very, very, very important that you hang on to this wire as you're unwrapping it and never let it go. If you've ever been fishing and you've bird nested a reel, it's very hard to untangle, and sometimes it's easier to just take all the fishing line off and restart. In this case, it's the same thing. The difference is this welding wire is pretty expensive, so we're going to make sure that we always are holding on to it. We're clipping it on the other side of our hand. We're getting into the habit of being very careful because filler material is expensive and we don't want to waste it and let it get tangled up. So we have it oriented the right way. It's going to feed down, line into the gun that way. So I will go ahead and get it started. I'll typically, sometimes if you're lucky, it'll go right through these guide rollers, no problem. This one is being kind of stubborn, so I have my welding pliers ready to kind of help it into place. Another tip, it's pointing down, so I can take this end of the wire and kind of point it up at an angle that way. And there you go. So I just barely bent the wire to help it go the direction I needed. And then we tried again and it worked. So I'll always feed about 2 foot of wire into the liner before I close this roller system. Make sure as you close the roller system, there's gears on the drive gears on the back side. So you need to make sure that you're lining those up. All you need to do is lift that cam system, that tensioning system up, and then you should be good to start jogging the machine. It's very important that we straighten out this lead. We don't want any hard turns or twists or coils in it. You can do a nice big loop if you want, but just make sure that nothing's tangled up, because as that wire is pushing through the liner, we want to make sure that it doesn't snag. I will typically hold the trigger. Some of these newer machines have an auto feed setting where it'll jog itself and increase the speed. Some machines have a jog button. This one doesn't. It's just taking its time. You can turn up the wire feed speed if you're impatient. We're up to 700 now. I like to kind of watch the wire in case it were to snag. And there we go. Came out the front. Okay, once we've fed this through, it's a good idea to go ahead and put this little cleaning sponge back on. You'll see there's a split in this wool. That's where it'll go on. And then this metal band will clamp over the split like that. And then that just sits there and it cleans the wire before it enters the liner of the gun. It keeps the liner nice and clean, makes it last longer. All right, so we got all the wire fed through the liner. Everything went well, no snags. What we're gonna do is talk about contact tips now. So we put 035 wire into this machine. So we are obviously going to put a 035 contact tip onto the gun now. If we're putting 030 wire, we're gonna put an 030 contact tip. If we're doing 052, we need to match the contact tip with the wire. So we store the contact tips in several of these drawers of this beige cabinet at the time of making this video. There's bags that should label the size, but I want you guys to confirm that the number on the contact tip that is inscribed in there matches your wire diameter. Sometimes they get mixed up. So like I said earlier, we have 035 wire that we just installed. We now have an 035 contact tip. We also, it's never a bad idea to hold it up to the old contact tip and just make sure that they're similar in dimension. because there are different styles in there for different guns. So go ahead and thread the new one on over the wire, spin that in there. We're going to use our welding pliers that have a groove right here specifically for contact tips, and we're going to tension it up just a little bit. It doesn't need to be cranked down real hard. It's just copper and brass. It's a soft material. So just snug it up. Go ahead and clean your nozzle while you're at it, or ream it out because it's already off the gun. You should be doing this regularly anyways while you're welding. But install the nozzle, give it a trim. Final step would be to shut your lid, hook up your ground, and you should be good to start welding again. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something.